ITV News.
President Trump orders strikes on Islamic State in Nigeria. The White House claims it's to defend Christians who've been persecuted. The Nigerian government says it cooperated with the attacks. Also tonight. We'll meet again. Zelensky plans for more face-to-face peace talks with Donald Trump on Sunday. Is it the end of a Boxing Day tradition? Passions run high over today's hunts.
I think it's more on the countryside.
You're feeling that?
Yeah.
This isn't a divide between the country and the town. This is a divide between those who don't want to see animals killed and those who want to kill them.
And that is the end of the England innings.
And another collapse sees England's hopes of a win over Australia turn to ashes.
This is ITV News with Lucy Watson.
Good afternoon. President Trump says US forces have carried out a powerful and deadly strike against the so-called Islamic State in Nigeria. He's accused IS fighters of targeting and primarily killing innocent Christians. The Nigerian government says the American strikes that hit Sokoto State near the border with Niger were carried out with their full cooperation and planning. The US military claimed there had been multiple fatalities, as Sabah Chowdhury now reports.
After months of warning, last night President Trump attacked, authorizing a strike targeting Islamic State in northern Nigeria. The attack was confirmed on Truth Social. The president wrote, "The United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries." And for weeks now, the president's been laying the groundwork.
May very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities.
His message amplified by American rapper Nicki Minaj.
Look at what is being done to Christians.
Today, Nigeria's government confirmed it was part of the operation.
It was a collaborative effort between Nigeria and the US, and we don't see it violating our sovereignty or territorial integrity.
Northern Nigeria has long been plagued by terrorism, and Christians have been persecuted for years. In 2014, 276 schoolgirls, mostly Christian, were kidnapped by terrorist group Boko Haram. And just last month, almost 300 children and staff were abducted from a Catholic school. But analysts say the violence affects not just Christians, but Muslims too.
In 2025, so far, there's actually been more Muslims killed in these sort of religiously targeted attacks. But in 2024, the opposite was true. There were more Christians killed. So these sort of trends do vary year on year.
Still, for President Trump, the line is clear. Protect Christians or face more strikes. Sabah Chowdhury, ITV News.
There's fresh hope for a Ukraine peace plan today. President Volodymyr Zelensky says he will meet President Trump in Florida over the weekend. Our reporter, Graham Cathcart, is here with me now. Graham, you've been looking at the details. What can you tell us?
Well, Volodymyr Zelensky at least seems quite positive about a 20-point peace plan. He told journalists that it was a roadmap that was around 90% ready, and it's one of those reasons. It's one of the reasons he said he'll be meeting President Trump this weekend, as well as to discuss potential security guarantees from the US if there were peace. This is all part of the ongoing US push to end a now 4-year war, attempting to bridge huge gaps in demands from Moscow and Kyiv. It's understood the American and Ukrainian president will meet at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. That's where he's been spending Christmas. In Ukraine, of course, there have been ongoing strikes, a number of people killed on Christmas Day, more killed today as well, and areas left with peace plan, the only thing Russia has said is that dialogue is ongoing, progress slow but steady. And the main sticking point still seems to be territory. Putin wants to keep certain areas of eastern Ukraine and more, actually, that Russia has claimed to have occupied. Zelensky has always said that that's unacceptable, but has now suggested that he would consider turning such areas into demilitarized, free economic zones, but still within the borders of Ukraine.
Graham, thank you very much indeed. 2 people have died in a car ramming and stabbing attack in northern Israel. The emergency services say a Palestinian from the Israeli-occupied West Bank attacked and killed a man and a woman before being shot and wounded. Here, police are urging people not to go swimming in the sea in Devon after 2 men went missing in the water yesterday. The men, in their 40s and 60s, got into difficulty in the sea in Budley Salterton. The search for them was called off last night. A number of other people were safely rescued. Across the country, tens of thousands of people have turned out to see what could be the end of a Boxing Day tradition, trail hunting with hounds, where dogs follow a scent rather than chase a live animal. The government is considering banning the sport next year, but enthusiasts say the hunts contribute more than £100 million a year to the rural economy. Ben Chapman reports on the passionate debate from Buckinghamshire.
For centuries, the sound has filled the countryside on Boxing Day. But this may be the last year the Bicester and Wadden hunt can take place in this form. 20 years after fox hunting was banned, the government wants to end its replacement, trail hunting too. For many here, it's just another attack on rural life.
I think it's war on the countryside.
You're feeling that?
Yeah, with the inheritance tax and everything.
I think it's totally overkill for what is something that is deeply embedded in the countryside and rural traditions.
Supporters of trail hunting say it allows that tradition to continue without killing foxes.
The hounds follow a scent from a rag which someone has been out dragging through the countryside beforehand. But opponents and the government say trail hunting is often a smokescreen for continued illegal hunting, and even the police say it remains prolific across the country.
Earlier this month, hunt saboteurs in Wiltshire say they filmed this footage appearing to show a fox being chased by hounds for several minutes, with huntsmen on horses nearby.
This isn't a divide between the country and the town. This is a divide between those who don't want to see animals killed and those who want to kill them.
But hunt organisers strongly refute that characterisation and say videos filmed by saboteurs are often misleading. Do you ever hunt live foxes?
No, we've been hunting within the law for the last 20 years. In fact, there are over 250 packs today.
Accidentally?
Not even accidentally. Every now and again, something gets up and the staff are professional and stop that happening. And there are minimal, very few prosecutions. This just seems to be cynical politics of hate, envy.
Banning trail hunting was part of a Labour manifesto pledge to improve animal welfare, and the government says it will consult next year on how to do it. But many in rural communities see it as the latest unfair assault on their way of life. Ben Chapman, ITV News, Buckinghamshire.
Hundreds of thousands of food parcels are expected to be sent out over the festive period as the cost of living crisis continues. Food banks say one food parcel is given out every 10 seconds, but there are calls to set up more food clubs around the country, and they are less well known. They provide groceries at cut-down prices to members, and organisers are hoping to open more of them in 2026. Our consumer editor, Chris Choi, has the story.
This year, our festive grocery spend is estimated at £13.6 billion, and for millions it is a struggle. In Bristol, John Marsh joined a food club. There's already a network of around 1,000, and many think we need more in 2026.
It would be a real struggle without the food club being here. You've got to think of the bills that you've got to pay, like your heating bill and your gas, your electric, and anything else that you use at home that you've got to pay for at this time of year. That might leave you short for a couple of quid's worth of food or whatever.
Places like this already help more than 100,000 families a week. At a time when grocery prices are a national menace, food club members are often surprised just how far their money will stretch.
They pay a small amount of money, so they'll pay £4 a week, and they'll get up to between £15 and £20 worth of food. It also includes lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, lots of protein from the fridge, sometimes some frozen products as well, some bakery items.
The prices are low because food clubs often use surplus produce from big retailers.
Christmas is a really challenging time for many families. Lots of families just can't afford even the basics this year. Some of the families, the parents that we've spoken to, have told us, a quarter of them told us that they can't afford food at the moment.
But it's food banks like this one that give out groceries at no cost. This year they've struggled to cope and expect to distribute almost 750,000 emergency food parcels around the festive season. It is worrying that some food banks themselves are talking about nearing breaking point as they grapple with this rising demand. Charities like this say that over the last 5 years, there's been a 40% rise in the number of food parcels needed.
Food banks are still gearing up to provide a food parcel every 10 seconds, and a third of those parcels will be families with children. So that's children. The other increase we're seeing is an increase in people over the age of 65 who are coming to us.
Food is one of the best bits of the festive season, but for many, paying for it is one of the worst. Chris Joy, ITV News.
And finally to sport. England have already lost the Ashes, and today things got even worse. They started well, bowling Australia out for only 152, but then the batting failed again, dismissed for only 110. However, for some fans, it was still a fabulous cricketing spectacle. The 20-wicket tally was the most on an opening day of an Ashes test for more than a century. Chris Scudder watched all the action.
Christmas repeats. A treacherous pitch, England in disarray. What could possibly go wrong? But this was a more balmy day than anyone could have scripted. England's nemesis, Travis Head, out early. The first of 20 wickets in a crazy day. The most on the first day of an Ashes test for 116 years. Bowled him! England's bowling was much better, and so was their fielding. There was even a spectacular run-out as the Aussies misfired. Now then, at the start, he's here! Even a glimpse of the Ashes' future, with Josh Tongue taking an encouraging 5-wicket haul. And edge first up. England's response was a disaster class. They lost 3 wickets for 1 run and found themselves in tatters at 8 for 3. Another edge. Harry Brook responded by going full-on Bazball, very first ball.
What is going on? This is shocking.
Joe Root was more circumspect, but defending didn't work out either. Root's gone! Brook eventually went after a belligerent knock of 41, but once he'd gone, it was just a matter of time. Quick time. Wickets tumbled again. 110 all out was England's lowest total in the Stokes-McCullum Bazball era, and it leaves them in big trouble again. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
And that is it. We are back later at 5 to 10 tonight. Until then, have a lovely rest of your Boxing Day. Goodbye.